the prospects for a ceasefire. We've seen back and forth negotiations between Hamas and Israel. Israel, and the US are presenting a plan that appears to allow Israel to get the remaining live hostages in a deal and then continue the genocide afterwards. There's no real clear things are being negotiated, but no real clear idea of where Israeli troops will pull back to in Gaza. It's certainly not a total withdrawal. And now what's become a major sticking point as well is how aid will be let in. Initially, the US and Israel insisting it'll still be run by the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, Hamas and other groups insisting that it be run by the UN and other groups. But it seems to be at a stalemate, and but at the same time, what my colleagues at Dropside are hearing from people as well is that Hamas is coming under tremendous pressure from within Gaza because the situation is so dire that people need any kind of reprieve, even if the long-term prospects are a continuation of the genocide. It's come to a point where, as we've been talking about, people are collapsing in the streets from famine. So what do you see as the prospects for a possible ceasefire?
Well, I can well imagine that most people in Gaza would be insisting that Hamas sign on to any agreement, even one that they know provides only a pause. I mean, if you're starving to death, you're not going to refuse breakfast on the grounds that you have no guarantee of dinner tomorrow evening. So that's an entirely understandable position. Having said that, and also confirming what you said, that there are still differences in the negotiating positions of Israel and the Palestinians in this issue, the main obstacle, as it always has been, remains the refusal of Israel to accept any agreement, not just an agreement different than the one that is on the table, any agreement. Now, there are two schools of thought about this. The first believes that the reason Israel is not accepting a ceasefire agreement is because Netanyahu is waiting for the Israeli parliament's summer recess, which starts, I believe, in a few days or about a week, because once parliament goes into recess, he can then sign on to agreements without having to deal with coalition problems or no confidence motion in parliament, because parliament will be on holiday. And these people also suggest that in view of what is seen by much of the Israeli public as an Israeli achievement in its war against Iran, that Netanyahu is now in a stronger position and more willing to accept such an agreement. That's one school of thought. The other says that when you look at Israel being able to continuously not only do whatever it pleases with total impunity and without consequence, but even to escalate to the point of not only a live stream genocide, but a live streamed famine. And the world makes clear that it does not see any cause for concern, and certainly none for consequences, that it makes no sense from an Israeli perspective to sign on to a ceasefire agreement, even a temporary one, when it has so much leeway to do whatever it pleases. And I would just go back to Iyad's concluding statement about that humanity has collapsed. That's true, but I would add to that humanity has been destroyed. It has been dismantled by those who believe that Israel's right to mass murder, Israel's right to conduct genocide, Israel's right to engineer a famine outweighs international norms and values and international law and the laws of war and international institutions and so on. The Western states have taken a clear position on this. Israel über alles.